Hey guys, we're trying this again. We were filming sideways before and maybe still are. We'll find out. Okay. Still, no, that's old. Someone shout out and let me know if I look sideways to you. We're running just a little bit behind right now, planning to do yoga at 7 o'clock as soon as we get the camera pointed in the right direction. Okay, that looks pretty good. So sorry about that, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. I think that we're good to go now. My name's Patrick. I'm a yoga teacher from Movement Climbing and Fitness, and this is my boyfriend Brian. He's going to practice with us tonight. We're here in our dining room. We've cleared the table and made some room to do yoga. You'll need a few things for tonight's practice. A blanket, if you've got one, would be ideal. Something to elevate your sitting bones. What also works great if you don't have a yoga blanket like this is a towel or a couple of towels folded up. Additionally, a yoga block, and if you don't have a yoga block, a water bottle such as this one can work really well for elevating your hand. And then also a yoga strap would be great. If you don't have a yoga strap, then a necktie, a leash, a rope, anything like that would work great. Also, please take care of yourself tonight. If there's anything that's not feeling awesome for your body, feel free to skip it and join back in where it looks good to you. So we'll go ahead and get started. Go ahead and take a comfortable seat on the edge of whatever you found to sit on, and close your eyes. Turn inward. Begin to observe the flow of your breath, flowing in and out through your nose. With the amount of time that we've been stuck at home, a lot of our external self has been able to fall away. And you've started to live, I imagine, I know we have, more from the inside out. And so what does that look like? What does that feel like to start to live your life from the inside out? For starters, I think that we start to go back to nature. Nature takes over. Our hair starts to grow wild. Our roots begin to show. That is, of course, unless you have given yourself one of those DIY haircuts. And no matter how that might have turned out, it was a bold move. It was an act of independence. And it was you beginning to realize that you don't need someone else, you don't need help, you don't need someone to fix you. And I actually think that a lot of the things that we've been doing around the house, the DIY projects, are acts of independence, of self-reliance. And while we've been here at home, we've also started to rely less on reassurance or others to approve of us. And that's living from the inside out. Otherwise, it's all from the outside in. You've gotten a lot stronger mentally, managing anxiety lately. And what that looks like is beginning to really see the negative narratives that play through your mind, and to redirect makes you stronger. You keep redirecting yourself back toward the truth, toward direct experience, and that's what living from the inside out looks like too. Soon enough, the world will start to open back up, and we will join it again. And what I'm wondering is if all of the parts of your external self that have fallen away lately could just be left laying there. And if you could maybe not reconstruct the pattern of your old normal, and instead start to move forward with what you've discovered lately, because that's living from the inside out. And that's how we're going to practice tonight. Literally, physically moving our bodies from the core lines to the extremities, and with the intention of just creating a lot of space inside. Let's go ahead and open your eyes, and we'll get started. Ideally, you found a strap or something that would work like a strap. If not, I think that you'll be able to do this without the strap, but the strap is just kind of a bonus. So let's start on our shins like this. Make sure your ankles are all the way together and that you're sitting back onto your heels. Then take the strap. I've got mine folded, and place it right across the top of your thighs, where your thighs meet your pelvis, and with your hands, root down toward the floor. And begin to deepen your breath. Just let the tops of your thighs begin to settle and to release to ground. One of the key actions for tonight's practice is what I call side body long. So the side body is that space from the top of your thighs all the way up to the armpit chest. So while you're keeping your thighs rooted down, I want you to begin to find more length and lift up through your sides with every breath. You feel your belly draw in and up. Your ribs lighten and lift up toward your collarbones. And continue to bring the breath into the armpits. Let the shoulders kind of float up and then roll back. Keeping your thighs rooted, inhale, make your side bodies long. And then exhale, roll your shoulders back and begin to bring your shoulder blades more onto the back with some strength. And then keeping that, let's fold forward and go really slow, keeping your spine long. There's no rush to put your head on the floor. Let's keep up with these actions. Using your hands, push your thighs back. Then inhale, lengthen through your side bodies. Exhale, pull the heads of your arm bones back and bring your shoulder blades onto your back. And keeping that, slowly ease your way down, bringing your head to the floor. You can always use a block if there's no chance that you're going to make it to the floor. Root your thighs back, use some arm strength, and from that steady point, lengthen through your sides. Lift your shoulders, firm your shoulder blades to the back, and keep softening your chest, bringing your head closer and closer to the floor. Are you still lifting your shoulders? Well done. Rooting down into your strap. Slowly lift your head back upright. And you can set that strap off to the side, okay? Now, separate your knees just a little bit. Walk your hands forward to begin. Brian and I are going to crash into each other here, but that's fine. We're going to walk our hands over to the right, okay? As we go, lengthen from this hip where you just have the strap all the way through the side body to the hand. That's what we're working on tonight, side body long. We're going to keep this outer hip tucked back and down and reach a little further through the left arm. Then begin a twist. So bend the right arm, bringing the fingertips to the floor, and roll your left ribs down between your knees. That feels so good. Inhale, left side body long. Exhale, firm your outer left hip, lift your belly, and twist. Good. And come on up. And let's go to the other side. So walk your hands over to the left. Keep your outer right hip hooking back, just like when the strap was there. Inhale, lengthen to the right side. And then bend your left elbow. Exhale, twist, taking the ribs down between the knees. You can let your head rest anywhere that feels comfortable. Inhale, lengthen. From that strong outer hip, that place that's truly rooted in authenticity, as you begin to open yourself back up to the world. And release. Nice. Okay, so go ahead and come on to your hands and knees. We worked this out earlier for like good optics here. It's going to be very well art directed. All right, so from your hands and knees, place your hands outer shoulder width apart with your second finger straight forward so that the wrist creases are parallel to the top of the mat. Then, keeping the thighs back, inhale, lengthen through your side body. So we're getting longer from here to here, between the hips and the shoulders. Then push down as you exhale into the knuckles and grip the floor with the fingertips. Keeping your arms nice and strong, curl your toes under and lift your hips up into downward facing dog pose. So feel free to bend your knees. Then, just like when you had that strap around the tops of your thighs, inhale, press your thighs back. Then, just like when you had that strap around the tops of your thighs, exhale and pull your outer hips up towards your sit bones and contract. Then, inhale, lengthen. Sweep the breath along those sides all the way up to the shoulders, actually shifting more weight into the hands. Keeping your hands grounded, rotate the inner biceps a little bit forward, spreading the shoulder blades on the back. Then soften the chest just slightly and begin to lengthen through the crown of your head. Keep lifting up through those hips. Good stuff, guys. Slowly walk your feet forward to the top of the mat. And bring your hands onto your shins. First things first, make sure your feet are facing straight forward and root down to the four corners of your feet. Then, as if your hands were pushing on the back of your calves, push your calves firmly into your hands. Using the calves as resistance, press the tops of the thighs back like when the belt was there. Then exhale, lift the belly and begin to lengthen. Just connecting to who you really are and pulling it through from your core, through your heart, through every thought. Lengthen your spine. Next, bring hands up onto hips. Inhale, side body long. Exhale, roll your shoulders back, firming shoulder blades onto the back. Then root down to your heels and come up to standing. So you can keep your feet where you are. We're going to turn so that you can see us a little bit better and do a side bend. So you can either keep your feet hips width apart or bring your big toe mounds together, whatever feels best to you. Then take a deep breath in, feeling your chest lift. Exhale, root down into your feet. Inhale, hug your legs toward each other. That's your center. Just like before, press your calves forward. Keep that. Move the tops of the thighs back. And now we're going to add a piece. Lengthen your buttocks flesh down towards your heels as you lift your hip points up toward your ribs and contract your belly. Keeping all of that. Inhale, stretch your arms overhead. Get long through your sides. Then clasp your right wrist with your left hand and let's do a side bend. Inhale, lengthen your right side. And exhale, lengthen your left side. Do you see how the left side is actually a little bit buckled? The space between my ribs and hips are shorter than on the right, obviously. So if I push my hips further to the right and stretch through the left arm, I'm trying to straighten it, then I get longer on both sides. Good. Inhale and come on up. Switch your clasp. Exhale, push down through your feet. Inhale, lengthen left side body long. And exhale, side bend to the right. Let your hips widen off of center. Stretch more through the short side, which is now the right side. Lengthen both sides. And of course, you're not ever going to be able to get them even. But the point is to try to work back toward what would be even or what would be centered in all of these complex situations that we call asanas. Good. Inhale and come on up. Good. Exhale, release your hands. Now let's take a wide stance. You might want to make sure that your blocks are nearby your feet or your water bottle or whatever you're using for a block. Then stretch your arms out to the sides. How wide should your feet be? Same width as your arms. So shuffle your feet out until it feels like they are. Then turn your right foot out 90 degrees. Turn your left foot in just a little bit for triangle pose. Take a deep breath in, feeling your side bodies lift and lengthen. Keeping that, exhale, push down into your feet. Inhale, spread your toes and firm your legs straight and strong. And before we go over into triangle, I want to illuminate one of the key actions, and it's the external rotation of the front thigh. So what does that mean? Well, it means pull your outer hip back towards your sit bone. Feel your inner thigh rolling toward the top of your thigh and your outer heel squeezing in. So externally rotate the femur in its socket. Then lengthen, right side body long, all the way through to the hands as you come down and put your hand on a block, okay? And the tendency, just like in a side bend, is to crunch the space between the hip and the rib here. So we have to work to keep it long. You might need to come up higher on that block to achieve that. and that's just fine. Press down through your left heel. Externally rotate your front thigh, feeling that outer hip get stronger. And from that hip, inhale, lengthen through the right side. And from the long side, twist up toward the left hand. Triangle pose. Good. Inhale, push down through your feet, and come back up to standing. Turn your right foot in. Turn your left foot out for the second side. Inhale, lift upward through the inner body. Exhale, root down through the feet. Externally rotate your outer left hip under. Then inhale, reach long through the left side, all the way to the fingertips and beyond. As you come into triangle pose, grab a block or something. If you have no props at all, you can put your hand on your shin, but just like before, push the calf toward the hand so you don't hyperextend. Good. Inhale, lengthen left side. And exhale, twist. And in order to lengthen your left side, you might actually have to try to shorten your right side. So squeeze those right side ribs in tight, and you'll find more length in your spine. How you doing, Brian? Okay. Inhale, and come on up. Okay. Turn both feet to face forwards. All right, so I'm gonna move over a little bit. I don't know if you can see it, but I have a chandelier right here. All right, so with a wide stance, face your feet forward, place your hands on your hips. Take a deep breath in, feeling your collarbones lift. And keeping that brightness, exhale and root down into your feet evenly. Inhale, stretch your right arm up beside your ear with the thumb rolling back. And then exhale, pull the right buttocks flesh down away from the hand. So we're opening a really long line from the sit bone to the thumb. Along that side body line, we have our obliques, our serratus, our lats, and more. Our kidneys, open up the kidney line nice and long. Good. And then keeping that length, fold forward and place your hand directly under your nose, so not too far back, all right? Bend your knees just a little bit. Inhale, hug your legs toward each other, firm your calves. Then just like when you had a strap around your thighs, press the tops of the thighs back and lift your sitting bones. Keeping that, exhale, draw the outer hips back, sit bones in. From those super engaged hips, pull back at the wrist, inhale, lengthen, right side body. And then exhale, twist, turning your chest to the left. Inhale, lengthen, lift and widen your chest. Exhale, pull the left shoulder back, really firming the shoulder blade to the back. Nice. Inhale and release. Bring both hands onto the hips as you face down. Then exhale, push down into your heels and come on up to standing. Good. Second side. Inhale, sweep the left arm up by your ear. Exhale, pull the left sitting bone down toward the floor. Pull the belly in and reach. Keeping all of that length in your left side, fold forward at the hips. Placing your hand directly under your nose. Good. So you can bend your knees a little bit, so you've really got control of your legs here. Spread your toes, squeeze your shins toward each other like bookends. Then push the tops of the thighs back. Keeping that, firm your sit bones toward each other, lift your belly. Now you're ready to twist safely. Inhale, lengthen the left side. Exhale, twist from left to right. And keep repeating all of those actions. Pull the right shoulder back. Squeeze the shoulder blades on the back to really get into that upper thoracic thoracic spine with your twist. So good. Release. No classic posture brings us closer to the midline of our body than twists. Inhale, look up, hands on hips. Exhale, push down into your heels as you rise on up to standing. Okay, so we're going to do that again and take it to triangle pose. If it gets confusing, which I think it could, please just look up at the screen and you'll get where we're going with this, I hope. All right, so inhale, reach up through the right arm. Exhale, root down through the right sitting bone as you fold forward, placing your hand directly under your nose. So bend your knees a little, squeeze your shins in, press your thighs back. Exhale, pull your sit bones in, lift your belly. Good. Inhale, lengthen through the right side. We've done all of this before. And then exhale, twist to the left. Okay, now we're going to go to triangle with the hand close to the floor, keeping the right side body long. That's the game we're playing right now. So begin to just swing the hand over toward the foot, turn the foot out. Okay, you can put your hand on the block, maybe a little lower if your body's opening. Okay, now pull the right sit bone under strongly. Boom, click. Then inhale, re-lengthen through that right side waist. From there, exhale, turn from all that space you're creating back up toward your offering. Wonderful. We're going to come up to get out. So push down through your back foot and come on. Good. Exhale, hands onto hips. Turn your toes to face forward and we'll go to the other side. Inhale, lengthen up through your left arm. Get a nice long stretch. And then keeping all of this inner space that you're creating lately, fold forward, reaching out. Beautiful. Place your hand right under your nose. Bend your knees. Hug to your center. Move your thighs back, wide. Then lengthen your buttocks down. Sit bone strong, belly lifts. Here we go. Inhale, lengthen through left side. And exhale, twist from left to right. Inhale, lengthen left side. Exhale, twist from left to right. Pull your right shoulder back. I'm constantly forgetting left and right. Okay, now from here, we're going to just sort of swing over into triangle pose. Like it's easier because you're not confused, right? Boom, that's so nice. And we've got so much space that we're bringing to this old familiar pose, okay? Firm your legs, push your feet down. Pull this outer left hip back, guys. And then from that steady point, lengthen through your left side spine. And keep those right ribs pushing in for length and twist. And expand through the wings. Good stuff. All right. Push your feet down, inhale, and come on up to standing. Turn both feet forward. Exhale, bring your hands to your hips. Then let's take a walk back to the top of our mats here. Okay, Tadasana. Okay, so take a deep breath in. And exhale, step your right leg back and lower your knee to the floor. How's that? If you need padding, you can double flip your mat. That always works nicely and quickly. Or if you've got a blanket or that towel, you can put that under your back knee. So your comfort is important. If you're not comfortable, it's kind of all you think about is discomfort. Okay, so take a deep breath in, lift your chest. It always starts by creating space through the breath. And then exhale, ground down into your feet firmly. Inhale, hug your upper inner thighs toward each other. Press the top of the right thigh back like you had a strap around it. And to really feel that, I want you to squeeze the top of the right butt. That will pull your thigh bone back. lengthen left hip down toward the floor as you lift your hip points up and start to feel a stretch in your psoas. If we get the psoas to open up, we will have so much length inside our bodies. Let's take the right arm up, thumb facing back, and stretch. Keep your rib cage pushing back. Keep your right thigh bone pushing back, even as you lunge. So you want to kind of feel into that long right side. You want to find the line of the psoas and pull it out with your hand. And then keeping all of that length, twist, hooking the right elbow to the outside of the left knee, and stack your hands in prayer. Keep the right butt strong, the left butt pushing down too. Inhale, lengthen and widen through your right side. Exhale, pull your belly in and twist from right to left. Nice. Inhale, widen your chest. Exhale, pull the left shoulder back, firm your shoulder blades, and then maybe, if it feels all right, look up. Good. Inhale and release. Just bow forward and let go for a moment. I love this pose, it's so sweet. Okay, and then step the right foot forward to meet the left, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen your spine, and then exhale, step your left leg back for the second side of Anjaneyasana. Again, pad the knee if you need to do that. And come on up, hands on hips. So, not to project this, but a theory, we think we're doing really, really well if we can push our hips really forward and downward. I know I used to just go for that all the time, just pushing down with the hips and basically jabbing my sacrum into the pose. So it didn't turn out all that great for me. What I really recommend is that you keep your hips pretty much over your knee, all right? So back off, push the left thigh back. Strengthen the top of the left butt, pull it down, and hold your thigh back. Then lift the belly. Oh my goodness, I am getting a thigh stretch and it doesn't even seem like I'm doing anything. Keeping that strong line, maybe bend the knee a couple of inches. It's a lot if you keep doing the work in the left leg, if you keep holding the resistance there. Okay? Then take your right arm up. We're just going to start to excavate the psoas right out of the kneecap up through the thumb. And you have to engage, you have to hug in and pull back to really feel that stretch. And it feels so good. That is moving from the inside out, from those deep, long core lines. All right, and then keeping all that length, twist, hook your elbow over your knee, stack your hands. Awesome. Inhale, lengthen through left side. Really flare it open like you have gills over there. And then exhale, close the left side and twist to the right. And we just keep doing that, so it's like inhale. And then exhale, take it around. Twist with your shoulders too. Draw the right shoulder bone back. Squeeze the shoulder blade. That releases the neck. Then you can look back. Awesome, and release. Just drape forward, just bowing to your front foot. So, it feels like you're there practicing with me. I'm pretty sure you are. I can't really see over there. Brian's here, I can feel his energy. I hope we're not the only ones doing this practice right now. No, I feel you, I believe you're over there. Okay. Let's just do downward dog, because downward dog feels good in the shoulders. Step back. And this will be our big transition to the floor here.
like I was just expressing, I just love to hold downward dog, work on downward dog. It's such a foundational posture. It's so interesting to me. All of that said, if you want to take a vinyasa, please do. Or even if you want to drop down into child's pose, that could be really sweet. It's so nice to be practicing together. It's really my favorite way to teach, versus like circling you like a hawk, like looking for misalignments. It's just so nice when we can practice together. It's different somehow. Okay, nice. Drop down to your knees. And just bring your hands to your thighs for a second. Sit well and close your eyes from top to bottom. Because we're turning a corner, because we'll start to cool down from here, I want to offer you an opportunity to turn a little bit more inward, to slow your breath down, and to reconnect internally. Another way to think about really living from the inside out, and I based on all the people I've talked to lately, I feel like we're all starting to do it. It's just checking in with how much energy you have, where you're at emotionally, and going from there, deciding what you have to give today. A lot of us have been overperforming for a really long time. Checking in, offering from a place that's not already empty. That is living, that is offering from the inside out. You can blink your eyes open. And I know you've all heard that before. It's not a new yoga theme, like to live from the inside out. We've heard it a million times because, it must be important. But I really hope that this time that you've spent in quarantine has actually showed you a little bit about what that means. Okay, we're going to do a twist. So sit off to your right side. Let your feet swing over to the left. And you'll cross your feet. It's very fancy. Okay. Then hug your legs together lightly so there's integrity to the pose. And walk your hands around to your right. Okay? Walk around to the right. Now, we get a nice long side body on the right side here. We love that. But what also happens that we need to work hard at is keeping the ribs pushed back. So bow forward. Do a little bit more of a cat pose spine into that twist. Bow forward and twist, keeping your obliques engaged. All right, so here's kind of a cool transition. I'm going to try to explain it plainly, but if you need to look up, look up. First thing we're going to do is straighten our legs with 90 degrees between them. So let's start with the one on top. Move it back. And then the leg on bottom, straighten it out to the side. All right, so we've got 90 degrees between the legs. Then look down at the floor, bow, and really pull those ribs back into the twist. And depending on how open you are, you can start dropping down towards your left elbow. Keep the right one up, so it's asymmetrical to create balance. Bend the left elbow toward the floor. You don't have to push it down there, but just start to drop the left side down into the twist, keeping the right side puffed up. This is such a deep twist. It's called Dying Warrior. And the reason why we're able to twist so much is because the hips are so firmly held against the floor. And that's really the balance that we're always looking for in yoga, is that strength or that steadiness, and then being able to find fluidity or mobility from there. It's always sort of both. Don't overdo it. Don't create force. Just twist with your breath. All right, that's really good. Okay, that's a deep twist. Let's come on out. Oh, sweet. Rock over to the left side. Fold your legs over to the right for the second side of this pose. Hug your legs a little bit toward each other. Pull your belly in, and then walk your hands around to the left. How far? Depends on you. Okay, a little bit is plenty. Take a deep breath in. Feel your chest lift, your spine lengthen. And then exhale, knit those ribs away. Hide those ribs back. Good. Breath by breath, we lengthen and twist. Lengthen and twist. And now that you know what we're going to do, it's the second side. Second side is so great because you're not in your head and it can be really embodied. So let's go to Dying Warrior here. Now remember not to collapse your ribs. Like you could just easily lay down on the floor and wonder what's happening right now. Push your hands into the floor. Hollow body, the left side. Push that back into the twist. You have to get there from the right side, not by plopping your left side down. That's nothing, okay? So push your left ribs back. Use your hands, and then twist from the right. And maybe eventually that elbow will get to the floor, but you're not going to get there by just letting go. It's a big twist. I don't know how it feels for you, but it's getting all into the fascia that surrounds my ribs, up there into the intercostals. And when you can stretch that, when you can get that turning a little bit and loosened up, then you can take much fuller breaths. All right, come on out. Nice work, yogis. I like it. Last pose, grab a blanket. I'd love it if you had a blanket. But if you don't, you know, all hope is not lost. It's okay. What I would ask you to do then is probably bend your knees into the forward fold. Bend your knees, drag your heels back, and arch your lower back in so that the top of the sacrum is pushed in. The low back is in neutral. And then start your forward fold from there. You want to feel the stretch in the hamstrings, not so much in the lower back, okay? So sitting up on the blanket obviously helps with that whole alignment of the lower back, but you can keep your knees a little bit bent here too. So I'll let you kind of catch up, decide what you're going to do with props. Some of you know this pose, you're probably already way into it, and that's cool. So drag your heels back, tip the pelvis forward, create low back curve to have a neutral low back. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale, fold in. So the hamstrings, they really like to borrow from the lower back. You know, they're kind of like that friend or that neighbor or that relative or whatever that's just like constantly borrowing and never giving anything back. Well, meanwhile, the low back is just like, sure, like I'll help you move, I'll do all the work. I'll do all the heavy lifting. So keep that low back neutral. It's not about the low back. And let's get to the hamstrings. And it might not seem as rewarding somehow because your face isn't close to the floor. Forget about that. I want you to keep your spine long and just slowly ease in to those hammies. All right? There's a lot more to say here, and we will eventually learn it all. But the primary thing is that you don't over-round in the lower back. And after doing that for years and years, you'll cause problems, and it's not worth it. So I don't mean to scare you, but just keep your spine long, please. That's good stuff. Or if that just feels too technical, you can always just lay on your back and stretch your hamstrings with the strap. It's a beautiful way to get it done. Next, we'll take Shavasana. So if you want to use your blanket as a pillow, that's a great option. Another thing I really like to do with the blanket is roll it up and put it behind the knees so that I have a little bit more weight dropping back toward my pelvis because it's more grounding. So you decide, you take a moment and get really comfortable for the final resting pose, Shavasana. And you can also do what feels best with your hands. You know, some days I'm ready to be back in the world, so it's like palms up. I am open. Other days, I am either not done being internal or I need to go there. And for some reason, just laying the palms downward on the body creates a little bit of sanctuary. So I invite you to do whichever one feels best. And to just kind of go with that pull, more inward or more outward. Allow your body to relax, to come to complete rest. So much healing can happen when you surrender. Let nature take over. Just give the pose a little bit of time and a little bit of space. begin to invite in a fuller breath. You don't have to make any effort. You don't have to drag the breath in. Just open the inner body, create space, and the breath will flow in. Like when you open the window and let in some air. When you're beginning to feel ready, more invigorated, you can start to move again. Maybe moving the fingers and the toes somehow. Or perhaps rocking the head side to side. I highly recommend stretching long. So maybe pull your legs together, lengthen through your toes. Draw the belly back toward the floor as you reach overhead. And just feel how long the yoga made you. How much space. We can make our way back up to sitting. Just roll over onto one side. And pause for a couple of soft breaths with your knees up towards your chest. The idea being that we take everything that the yoga and really any time that we spend in the sanctuary of ourselves, that we just take a pause and we hold on to that and we bring that back into our lives. So we can slowly come back up to sitting, bringing it all with us into the world. Sit well, sit tall. Bring your palms together at the center of your heart, at the very center of who you are, and bow your head. Namaste. Thanks again. Thanks to everyone who practiced live, and thanks to everyone in the future who will practice not live. Thanks to Brian for practicing. And I actually want to give a really big shout out to M. Hecker. Some of you might know him, some of you might not, but he is the man behind the scenes. So if you're experiencing this live feed or really experiencing movement climbing and fitness at all lately through social media, it is all being channeled through this very, very sweet man. So thank you, M, for all that you do. And thanks to everyone at home. Take care. All right.